All right, let's get into it. And I want you to think of this less as a simple analysis and more like an operator's guide. We're going to treat this manuscript, Kathy Acker's work, like a piece of radical software, an operating system that's designed to crash your usual way of thinking and reboot it into something way more interesting. And boom, right from the jump, the system throws an error message at you. There's no gentle onboarding here. This line is meant to throw you off balance. It's like a glitch in the code that makes you question the most basic assumptions you have about reality. And then you get hit with this, the next system shock. It just shatters our whole idea of where stories even come from. I mean, who gets to tell them? Suddenly, the narrator isn't just a narrator. She's a grave robber, and the grave she's robbing is her own. Think about it. In our world, what is your identity? It's what people find when they Google you, right? Well, this manuscript just completely rejects that. From page 1, the idea of a single, stable, searchable identity is gone. And that's not a bug. It's a feature of this whole new system. So, what is the core problem this whole program is trying to fix? This first part is the boot sequence. We're going to identify the central system error that this text sees as the fundamental bug in our cultural programming. And here it is, the main virus it's trying to quarantine, the myth of the unified self. The text argues that this belief we're all supposed to have, that we're one single consistent person, is a total delusion. It's not who we are, it's just, as it says, a grammatical convention, a rule we follow without even realizing it's a trap. And this is where it gets really sharp, because the text frames this idea of a unified self as a kind of privilege. You know, for some people, it's easy to be one consistent thing. But the argument here is that for women, especially, survival means you have to be multiple things at once. You're forced to hold all these contradictory identities just to get by. Okay, so if the unified self is the error, what's the fix? Well, the text proposes something really radical. Don't even try to fix the error. Don't try to become whole. The instruction is to become the glitch. And here's what that looks like in action. The narrator isn't just one person. She's a whole collection of programs running at the same time. She's a bookstore clerk, she's a hero from a myth, she's a literary rebel, she's even the author who's already dead. But then look at that last line. I am you reading this. It just shatters that wall between the text and you and pulls you right into its own fractured identity. And this is the question that just flips the whole script. Our culture loves to label this kind of thing as a disorder, right? But the text reframes it entirely. It asks, what if being multiple isn't a pathology? What if it's the only sane, logical way to survive in a world that's constantly making insane, contradictory demands on you? So, now we get to the how-to section. It's not enough to just see the problem and embrace being a glitch. This text actually gives you a practical method for rebellion, a way to actively fight back. This is a perfect example of what it calls surgery on narrative. Just look at Penelope from the Odyssey. The official story, the good wife, patiently waiting. But the text cuts that story open and rewrites it. No, she was a strategist. She ran an entire estate for 20 years, managed an occupying force. And the real heresy, that happy ending where Odysseus returns, maybe that wasn't a happy ending at all. Maybe it was a disaster. It's all about stealing these old myths and showing what they're really hiding. And it's so important to get this. These aren't just clever literary games. This isn't just for show. The manuscript treats all of this as a form of real-world political action. This is praxis. This is about turning theory into an actual weapon. And there's a key technical term for this whole method. It's détournement. It's a French word that basically means rerouting or hijacking. The whole idea is you take something from the culture, a book, an ad, an idea, and you twist it, you hijack it to create a brand new subversive meaning. And if that sounds a little abstract, check this out. This quote makes the idea so physical, so visceral. This is not some polite academic debate. The narrator is literally gutting a famous book of theory and stuffing it with her own revolution. I mean, it turns the act of reading and writing into a full-on punk rock performance. So, how do you do it yourself? Well, the text lays it out like a manifesto, a brutal step-by-step guide to taking control of your own story. It argues you have to destroy every external authority, your parents, your heroes, even the reader's desire for a comfortable story, before you can truly create something new. It is a total declaration of artistic independence. And that brings us to the conclusion. After walking us through the diagnosis, the instruction, and the method, the operating system finishes its boot sequence. It stops telling you how to do it, and it challenges you directly. It's your turn. This is the text's bluntest, starkest thesis. It's the core command. It argues that the pressure that we all feel to make sense, to have one clean story, to be a single, coherent person, that's not a neutral thing. It is an act of violence against our true, multiple, messy nature. And so it leaves us here. It doesn't end with an answer. It ends with a diagnostic question aimed right at you, the user. It asks you to look at your own corrupted files, your own glitches and damaged sectors. And the choice this operating system gives you isn't what to think, but how you're going to respond to your own beautiful, necessary brokenness. So what are you going to do?